This is Don't Panic, episode number 280, recorded June 29th, 2020. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, and you. I'm Sean Jennings, and I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for these two meddling kids, Colby Rabideau and Dan Miller. Good evening.
Did you watch the Scooby-Doo movie this weekend or something?
Scoob? You mean the animated Scoob? No, although I finally signed up for HBO Max to try it out, and that's like their big push is like, we have Scoob! And I'm like, that is not selling me. No, I found out, because you know me, I like the opening gimmicks of the show, because I just can't leave well enough alone, and nothing I've done has worked, but I did find there's a Wikipedia page called List of Catchphrases. So I'm going to try for the next couple weeks to...
Interesting.
Including one of them is Don't Panic, which is from the British show Dad's Army in the 60s. So...
Dad's Army.
Yeah, the famous Dad's Army.
Wow.
BBC comedy set in World War II. I think that's just about every show they make. But you get the idea.
Huh. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, so really... something to look forward to. I think there is one on here that I don't think I can work into an episode, but I did really like, and this was in the British section, and it was, are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, let's play darts. It's an actual catchphrase from the Dart World Championship. I guess famous enough to make it onto the list of catchphrases.
Darts. Have you ever watched darts on TV?
I have. To me, it's kind of like cornhole on TV, where it's all of them are just so good, it's not very interesting, because they just get like holes in one all the time.
Yeah. So what's the, then I guess maybe that's not why it's not a wildly popular televised sporting event, but, is there just no drama at all, or is there something
No, I mean, nobody's perfect. There is some drama, but it's, it's really at the high level of the sport, and it's also... Again, there's no, strategy. No, that's not true, because there is some strategy in what points you get and where, but it's fine. It's kind of like billiards, where it's there's nothing wrong with it, but, I don't find it interesting to sit and watch.
Yeah, fair.
Or snooker, for that matter.
Dan, what was the sport we were watching at that bar that time in Boston? Was it, wakeboarding or something?
I think so. I remember they were being towed around by a watercraft of some kind. They were on skis, and they were going off jumps. Is that match your memory?
Yeah.
So, trick water skiing, maybe? Or maybe they were on boards.
Yeah. It was definitely something... I remember there being, I don't even know how to describe it. There was a system of cables or something, and that's what was pulling them. It wasn't like a boat. It was I don't know. I don't know if that's true though.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing.
I might have concocted that in my imagination.
Yeah, there is a 3-event tournament in water skiing. In the United States, there are over 900 sanctioned water ski competitions each summer. But the big one is the 3-event, which is slalom, jump, and trick. Slalom water skiers use only one ski with feet oriented forward. They're narrow and long, and it's like slalom skiing. Then there's jump, where they go over a jump and attempt to get the longest distance. And then there's trick, which uses small oval-shaped or oblong water skis. And skiers are given 2 20-second runs to perform a series of tricks, and they get scored.
I think we were definitely watching the trick one.
Yeah,
I had to
that
guess.
sounds about right.
I had to guess. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, there's also a ski marathon, where skiers have to ski on all 6 pieces of equipment. The single ski, the double ski, singles finless, double finless, a freeboard, and a fence paling.
What?
It just says a fence paling. Let me see what that is.
That sounds impressive if they have to switch without stopping. It's seamless.
Well, when I look at fence paling, I get actual fencing things. So let me do fence paling skis. Literally no results come up. That's not helpful.
Maybe Wikipedia is lying to you.
I was going to say, maybe somebody just made it up. Oh, here we go. On fence palings. What are these? Here we go. Here's an article. Nope, that article's not helpful. All right, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. There's the picket fence drill, I guess. I don't know what this is. Anyway, I will Google this and get to the bottom of it. But in the meantime, what else is going on with you gentlemen?
I'm not in Maine anymore.
You survived? Did you meet any local wildlife while you were there?
Deer, a bunch of chipmunks, a bunch of really cute tiny red squirrels.
I like to imagine it's very Cinderella-esque in that they all sort of flew in the window and helped you get dressed in the morning.
No, but I was working on the porch, and then I like hear some rustling, and I look to my right, and there's a deer just walking 15 feet away, and then it looked at me, and it was like, meh, and then it just kept eating grass or whatever it was eating. So that was really cool.
Did you have to pay extra for that?
I don't think so. I haven't checked my bill, but...
The deer fee?
The deer fee. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Deer. Man, going someplace sounds crazy.
I was gonna say, I think that's like the one place you can probably go right now is the literal middle of nowhere.
That's acceptable. Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. Now, obviously, the 4th of July is coming up. That will be between this episode and the next one. Oh, look, when you Google 4th of July, Google has little fireworks that come up on the results page. How fun is that? I take back all the weird and creepy things they do. That's wonderful. What a nice company. Do you guys have any big 4th of July plans? You going out on the boat? You having a barbecue? Shooting off some fireworks?
I think I'm going to visit the parents.
Ah, the Rents.
Yeah. Which, that'll be the first time I see them. I've seen them in 4 months? 5 months? Since like February, so...
That's exciting.
Could be interesting, yeah. Yeah, also the first time I've left Boston, and like the first time I've gone any further than like 3 miles from my house in 4 months, so that should be fun. I don't think I'm going to see any fireworks, but I've seen plenty of fireworks for the last like 2 months, so it's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's these stories all across the country of like people just like shooting more fireworks than they've ever shot off before. I guess because they're bored. That's? I mean, I'm sure in cities maybe that's out here. I don't usually hear fireworks, but they have been going off like crazy.
I haven't been hearing them, but I live in like the rich fancy part of town, so.
So you don't hear any rich fancy fireworks?
No, yeah, no. But I hear it's endemic in other places for perhaps mysterious reasons.
Yeah. Here, it's been okay recently. Actually, so far this week has been really quiet, which you wouldn't expect for 4th of July week. But it could just be that Boston is so small that, like, I don't live in a particularly fancy neighborhood. It's kind of an in-the-middle neighborhood, but like, I feel like fireworks anywhere you can hear from most places.
That's the idea.
Yeah, it's right. Kind of the point.
Yeah. Quiet fireworks never really took off.
Right. It is mostly fine. There was the one night where someone set one off like right over my apartment building at 4 a.m. So like that was really startling, like to be awoken by an explosion outside your window. But otherwise, it has mostly been fine.
Now, what's your guys' history with fireworks? I don't think we've ever talked about this. Did you ever shoot them off as kids or be around them, or you don't like them and generally avoided them?
Well,
go ahead, Colby.
I was gonna say I've done some sparklers in my day.
Ooh.
I don't know if I don't know if that counts. I've definitely been around. Like I've been to things where people had fireworks and like shot off fireworks. I don't think I've ever like set them off myself. I do remember distinctly I had a friend in high school whose dad was like an EMT. He was like a part-time like volunteer EMT, and he had like terrible stories about the things people did to themselves with fireworks. Because like they're like it's like chemical fire. Like when it gets on you, you can't put it out. It just like burns out. So it's like really unpleasant apparently, the things that happen. So like I don't feel like super compelled to venture down that road myself. But I don't know. What about you, Dan?
I remember being a little bit afraid of fireworks growing up, but we had this like big fireworks show in my town, so it was a thing that you had to see pretty much. I know that my uncle growing up, I had this memory that he would set off fireworks when we were on vacation, and that was just like on the beach. But other than that, like I don't have any. It's like I'm not a fireworks fan. I don't think I've ever shot off anything more than a sparkler on my own. I'm pretty sure. Oh, growing up, I used to go to that's right. I used to go to my friend's 4th of July party, and they would have the like crazy fireworks, or they would go to some other state to get the ones that weren't legal, and yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's pretty much it. How about you, Sean? Tell me your fireworks story.
No, I wish I had an interesting story. I really don't. I mean, only once can I recall going somewhere that was like a large-scale amateur fight, where they brought in like a pickup truck full of fireworks and spent, what was the number? I was told it was thousands of dollars they spent on fireworks. And that was the only time in my life fireworks were ever shot off directly above me. And I found it so immensely unpleasant. And my general feeling on fireworks, and I don't want to be like the Grinch of the 4th of July, but I just find them very mediocre. Like, it's always the same. Like, where's the innovation in fireworks? Like, I just feel like the same ones I saw as a kid I still see now. So it's not that I like or dislike them. I'm just bored by them. Like, I just don't care.
Yeah. I went to, I think it was either last 4th of July or 2 4th of Julys ago. I went to the fireworks, like to watch the fireworks here in Boston, like along the river. And we were like downwind of the fireworks.
Yeah.
And there was just debris raining down on us. Like,
it's very bad.
It was gross. It was like, oh, this is not fun. I guess maybe the you gotta pick the right side of the river according to which way the wind is blowing on the day or something. I don't know, but that was icky. I didn't like that much. It wasn't that much fun.
No, but I don't know. They're interesting, but reminds me of the old Jack Donaghy. The ones that make the little cowboy hats. Like you never see anything fun in fireworks anymore. It's just bigger and louder. So, I don't know. I'm kind of glad they're illegal in most places. I feel like people shouldn't be able to buy fireworks. That seems generally like something that should be, like when I go to like Disneyland or something, I'm like, oh, okay, I trust they can do fireworks. Like, they're fireworks people. And then you're like, your neighbor Joe Blow, who brings in thousands of dollars of fireworks, you're like, you're going to burn the neighborhood down.
Yeah.
Now, I will
Especially
say,
in cities, it's too loud.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, and like everything is too close. Like,
yeah.
I'm surprised there have not been more fires caused by fireworks. I just remembered this. In Rhode Island, there used to be, I think they're gone now, the Pawtucket Red Sox. The Red Sox, like AAA baseball team. They were based in Rhode Island, so they had a stadium, and they would do like on 4th of July, like they'd have a game, and then at the end of the game, there'd be a big fireworks show, like set up in the parking lot. And I remember I was at that one year, and something went wrong, like right at the beginning of the show. Like one of the fireworks like tipped over or something and went off and set off all of the fireworks at the same time on the ground. So like And it was like you couldn't really see what was happening. It was just because you were in the baseball stadium, and so the fireworks would go up like over the scoreboard. But you just saw like all of these fireworks, this huge like fireworks explosion, like going off kind of like way too low. That was weird. That was a little scary because it was enough fireworks where it was like it was a really big, like all at once kind of explosion, like not in the same place. It was pretty scary. There was a minute where I was like, your like fight or flight instincts were kicking in. It's like, do I run?
Yeah.
Do I stay or do I go?
Right, exactly.
A great genre of YouTube video, the firework accident.
Gross.
That happened to my brother-in-law. He wasn't my brother-in-law at the time, but he was at a family get together on the one time I was at an expensive fireworks show, and the amateur one, and he was deathly afraid of fireworks, and they somehow convinced him to come down to shoot one off, like one of the real ones off, and it was the one that tipped over, zinged, singed his leg, and now he won't go anywhere near fireworks anymore. Smart man.
Yeah, smart.
should have stuck to his instincts.
He was right.
One.
He was 100% right. I cannot challenge that. But it is interesting because, you read these articles. Disneyland in California is famous for this because Disney World's kind of out in the middle of nowhere in Orlando. But Disneyland is like in Anaheim, like in a neighborhood. And they shoot off fireworks every single night. Could you imagine living in Anaheim near Disneyland?
I wondered about that because when I was at Disneyland last November, it's very unlike Disney World. Have you been, Sean?
No, I haven't. I have certainly read about it and seen pictures and that, but no, I haven't been.
Like, you drive up. I kept waiting. I was like, wait, we're not there yet. Because you get off the highway and then you're in a city. You're just like, oh, okay. Like, there's a Starbucks and there's all this stuff. And you're driving down this main drag. And you just pull off into this huge parking lot in the middle of the city. And there's a shuttle bus. So it's a little bit of, like, magic that gets played on you. Because, like, it's hard to pay. I wasn't paying attention to like where the shuttle bus took me, but then suddenly I get off the shuttle bus and now I'm in Disneyland. I'm like, but we didn't go that far. Where are we? So I had the same question because you will never get the sense from when you get off the shuttle bus until you get again off the shuttle bus that you are in a city. Yeah. But you definitely are.
Well, and what's crazy is actually when you compare it to Universal in Hollywood, because Disneyland, Walt Disney, and this is true, actually built a large dirt barrier essentially around the entire property. So there's a raised hill. It's kind of almost like sunken down, like it's in a crater almost, to protect it from the outside world. Doesn't help with fireworks, but it does help with some noise and some privacy. Universal is literally just like a bunch of buildings next to other buildings. And I think they have either stopped or greatly reduced fireworks and nighttime noise because they did get so many complaints.
Wow. Wait a second. Looking at Disneyland on Google Maps is crazy because Google Maps, of course, it has all the freaking roller coasters and everything mapped out here. So you can really see how much of a compound it is within the city.
Yeah, and that's why they've never built like a Disney World type multiple park. I mean, California Adventure was sort of their big, but they're really limited on land because there's just nowhere else to go.
Right.
Because they're completely surrounded. And that's actually interesting that Disney, I don't know if they did buy or they were planning to buy, not too far away is the old Angels baseball stadium. And there was a lot of rumors that Disney was going to buy it because it's a big lot, big parking lot, and that they were going to turn it. I think they own some of the lot and they use it for employee parking, but that they were going to turn it into another piece of Disney, even though it would be sort of a transportation bit away.
Wow.
Yeah, you can actually see it on the Google map over by the river on the other side of the 5 highway.
Huh. Sean, you always teach me something new.
I know a stupid amount about amusement parks, Dan. Very embarrassing.
Sean, did you watch any of that the documentary on Disney Plus about?
I did, the Imagineering story. Yes, I did. It's 6 episodes, 6 hours. It's interesting. I mean, it's like super propaganda. Like, as someone who knows about like not only the good stuff, but like the failures Disney has had, they really gloss over them aggressively. And it's like it is interesting. And if you know nothing about sort of the Disney parks history, you'll learn stuff. But it is really like pat on the back, like we've done stuff no one's ever done. And then what's really funny is not, again, I'm going to get into too much detail, but every time I've seen one of these like company produced documentaries, there's always one thing that they throw under the bus, because they'll know people will be like, they can't say everything's great, and so they choose California Adventure to chuck under the bus so hard because everyone hated it when it first came out, and so that's the one thing they get away with. Everyone's like, yeah, it turns out that wasn't a good idea, but everything else we did perfectly. It's very funny, but it's very well made.
Yeah, I watched a couple episodes. It was like interesting. I found the beginning more interesting. Like once the park was a thing, it was like
yeah, the classic stuff and the Walt stuff.
Right. Crazy.
Yeah. Good. Well, that reached its natural conclusion. Excellent. Any other discussion topics, guys? That's going on here. Did we talk about me packing up my smart home? Did we talk about that?
No.
So I've admitted on the show before plenty that I have too much smart home stuff. What did I claim once? 40 devices on my router or something like that. Well, I had to pack them all up because I'm moving. And so I really should have kept an exact count of all the stuff I pulled down. But it was 2 wall Lutron switches, the garage door controller. I kid you not, I think there were about 10 Wemo smart switches. I think 8 Wise cameras.
8?
Yep, what else? Why can't I think of more stuff? There's a whole bunch. You should have seen, I have a whole box. That's just, the Nest smoke detector. I'm leaving for the people who bought the house are keeping my Nest cam out back, my Ring doorbell, and my Nest thermostat. So those are staying.
Wow. Very nice of you.
Well,
how much did they add to the price for that?
Not enough. No, honest, what it really is they're just the outside stuff, you have to bolt to the house so aggressively that it's just not worth the hassle of taking it down. Especially the Nest cam out back. That was brutal. So I said, you can just keep it. I'm sure there's more stuff. That's the stuff but I have a whole box that's just smart home crap. That hopefully will all go back together when I get to the new place.
Wow. That'll be exciting.
Now, what things are you missing from now that you don't have any of it? What's your biggest biggest smart home technology that you're missing? Or are you missing none of them?
Well, I was going to say that's the depressing thing is I'm not really missing any of them because it is all my Hue lights are still obviously on because they're just the regular bulbs in the lamp. That's probably the smart home thing I use the most, so I haven't really noticed. And the thermostat is still up, and I use that. It's like kind of the stuff I use a lot is still up. So I haven't really noticed. Oh, I got to grab the smart water sensors downstairs. I forgot to grab those. But yeah, no, I haven't really noticed a huge difference, to be honest with you. I don't know what that says.
Now, what were you using all these cameras for?
So I had my perimeter ones and my inside ones. My perimeter ones was one in the garage, one at the side door, and one in the basement. The others I had bought when I got the cat, and I had them strung all throughout the house so I could watch them from home or from work when I was at work, and just also use them for internal security. So I had them strung up all throughout the house. But those I took down a while ago. And I hadn't been using them. They were just in a box. Because I didn't need them because I've been home all the time.
Yeah.
And I did Wise just came out with their first outdoor camera, so of course I bought one. So nice. You guys got to stop me. Please. I'm going to pass all my credit cards transactions through you guys, and you can just deny. It's not healthy. It's really not.
Give you the gladiator thumbs up, thumbs down on each transaction.
Yeah, exactly. That's shut me down. It's like, Sean, do you really need that? No. No. If the whole smart home box got lost in the move, my life would be just fine. I don't know what that says.
Yeah.
I think the Hue bulbs are the only thing I genuinely would say I would be very depressed if they went away, because those I use a ton.
Now, do you use different colors for those?
I only have the white ones. I don't have any of the colored ones because
Okay.
I'm willing to spend on a lot of bulbs, but I won't get the nice expensive ones. So I only have white. But I have probably, gosh, a dozen bulbs, maybe something like that.
Wow.
But I have no
That's a
like
lot.
ceiling lighting in my entire house, so it's all lamps in my whole house, and that's every room has 2 lamps, and so it adds up quick.
Lamp life.
Gotta
Yeah.
have those few bulbs.
I like the Lutron switches, but I do have overhead lights.
Yeah, well, that's the 2 I had were for overhead. With the few overhead lights I actually do have, and those work great. I mean, the idea is that honestly, most of the stuff I controlled either through Alexa or HomeKit, so it didn't really matter what platform they were on. It was pretty compatible. I just said turn the lights on and off, and it pretty much worked. So that's always nice. But that's not an interesting story. Why don't we get to some of the interesting stories in the rundown here? We've got a lot. While you guys are looking to decide on which one we're going to start on, I want to thank everybody watching us live right now at facebook.com/Don't Panic Show. Monday nights about 10:15 Eastern. We're there yakking it up, chatting about what's new. If you're watching us live, make sure to throw in a comment. We'll be watching it throughout the show. We want to hear from you. Maybe you have a great pick you'd like us to share, because I don't have one this week, and I have exactly maybe 35 minutes to come up with one. So if you'd like to suggest one for me to pick, like when Colby picked Phil Lopez last time, please if you'd like to be this week's pick, please comment on Facebook, and I will pick you. How's that? Our fan of the week. I did realize, Guy, did you know, I was far too lazy to actually look and see if this is true, but this may be the first time we've ever done 5 episodes in a calendar month.
Oh, that's a fun fact.
Because we did one on the 1st, and we're doing one on the
wow.
29th, so the way the calendar worked, we did 5. Now, considering the fact that, A, we didn't miss any this month, and it's 5, I doubt we've probably, maybe one other time we've done that, but that's a pretty big accomplishment.
That's pretty good.
So kudos to us. I think
Yeah,
that means
congratulations. I think we should have a party.
well, I was going to say, I think we can take next month off. Get a little vacation in. What story are we going to start with, guys?
I think we should start at the top with Microsoft stores.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going away in the rundown this week, and this is a big one. As you guys know, it's a great time to be in physical retail. Unfortunately, Microsoft didn't get that memo. They announced this past week that they are permanently closing all Microsoft Store locations in the United States and around the world, except for 4 locations that will be, quote, reimagined, end quote, as experience centers that, and this is the key, no longer sell products. It's really just a place you can go and play with the computers. Those are New York City and Fifth Avenue, London, Sydney, and the Redmond campus location. I don't have an exact number, because I did actually look for this because I was curious. I couldn't find a number of exactly how many stores they have. I think it's over 100, but don't hold me to that.
Yeah, I've been surprised at the places over the past 5 years that have had Microsoft stores.
I mean, they were, I wouldn't say aggressively expanding, but they were expanding. I mean, they were opening new stores.
There's one near me. At a
Not
time
anymore.
when stores were open.
I went to
could've
one in
walked
Florida.
I've
Weird.
been to a couple different ones in different malls. Because I'm always that nerd who's like, oh, a Microsoft store. And I get in there and I'm like, I don't want to buy any of this. And I leave.
Yeah, I remember when I was in the Microsoft store, their big new product was their smartwatch.
The
was that thing
band.
called?
Wasn't it the band?
Maybe, yeah, the band.
The health
that sounds
band
right.
they had for 5 minutes? I remember talking about that on the show. That's very sad. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
The store debuted in 2009. Yeah, it's interesting to me that, we can talk about why these stores closed, and there's a lot of reasons, but you could also argue that Microsoft's never been more aggressive in Microsoft-made hardware than they are right now. Between not just computers, but also, they have a brand new Xbox coming out. They're focusing more on headphones and other accessories made by themselves. Surface, they're obviously pushing quite hard, but the store concept of it, I guess, just didn't work out. I don't know, guys. On a scale of 9 to 10, how sad are you?
2. There's a lot to be sad about right now.
And this is not high up on your list.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
I'm like,
competition.
Dan, I would
there's a like sadness inflation at the moment.
I would love, Dan, for you to go into a meeting at work and be like, guys, I have devastating news. Microsoft is closing all of their stores.
That was going to be our big distribution channel.
Guys, we pinned it all on Microsoft Store. We're going under.
Yeah, I don't care.
They were fine stores. Like
can everyone describe if you've been into a Microsoft store, like what brought you in, what did you do, what are your like founding memories?
Yeah, I mean, Dan, have you been to an Apple store before?
Yes.
Okay, it's kind of like that with Microsoft products. Like that's literally what they did. Like I wish I was joking, but that's kind of what they did. And it was sort of the shiny white stuff with all the products, and then there was the bar in the back with the expert guys who would fix stuff for you.
There was like always kids playing on an Xbox.
Yes.
That was a thing.
Yep. And they had they didn't just have Microsoft hardware. They also had, Acer and Dell and whoever was making products associated with Microsoft. I have been a long-time Microsoft.com store fan, their online store, because if you're buying Windows devices, I've always told people buy it from Microsoft directly because they have better warranties, better return policies, and all their PCs it's like Microsoft Experience. They have a name for it, but basically there's no kind of that adware that everyone installs, and they're like clean installs of Windows. They're great to deal with. I've bought computers through them. I've bought headphones through them. It is a really great experience. If there was a Microsoft store in my mall, I would like buy stuff there. Not often, but if I was looking for a computer, I would go there.
Yeah, I heard that they were a great place to go if you just needed a piece of like a USB cable or some sort of adapter. Like the Microsoft store would typically have it.
I mean, if someone came to me and said, "Hey, Sean, I want to buy a laptop. Where should I buy it?" The first place I would say it's the Microsoft store, online or in person, because it really was, the people who worked there, from my limited experience, like it was like an Apple genius. Like they were trained. I mean, I wouldn't send you to a Best Buy where the rep doesn't know anything. I have a great story, by the way, that I will circle back on. You just made me think of. But where the reps don't know one computer from another. I mean, these guys really, if I had an issue with my computer, I would take it there. Now, I know what I'm doing, so I usually don't. But our friend Phil Lopez bought a computer through the Microsoft Store, got a warranty through the Microsoft Store, an additional one, had issues. He took it there. He fixed it. I believe he had a pretty good experience. So, it wasn't a flawed idea on paper. I think the issue is they should have just called it the Xbox Store and just sold Xbox stuff. I mean, which is GameStop. I mean, nobody gets excited to go to you go to an Apple Store. People just hang out in the Apple Store. Like, people just, like, we're at the mall. Let's go flick some iPads and stuff. Like, nobody does that with, like, oh, it's the Surface Studio. Look at the cool hinge. And you're like, I don't know. I don't know. It just never connected. What about you guys?
Yeah, I feel like they're like, I don't know, I've never used the Surface, but I feel like their hardware is never like wild. Not that Apple's hardware is exactly wild, but like it kind of is. I don't know. Maybe that's just the like Apple person in me. Like they brainwashed me to be excited about their stupid touchscreen. So I go to the store and like swipe some touchscreens and get some satisfaction out of that. But,
wait, what do you mean? There's the stupid touchscreen. Say more.
No, I don't. I mean, I think their touchscreen. They have nice touchscreens. Apple has nice touchscreens.
I see.
It's known.
Although the last time I went into a Microsoft store, they had, and I think we talked about it on the show, the new like giant surfaces for office, like for your office space. That's like on an easel. And I got to play with it, and it was very cool. So,
wait, what's this? Is this like the room you have in your house where you work? What's an office?
Yeah, it's a piece of software, Dan. Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Office.
Oh, right. Like the thing that has
runs
that
really
weird
well
icon.
on ARM Macs.
Yeah, on Apple Silicon. Yeah, I honestly, I think Microsoft would have done better if they didn't sell Dell and Asus and all these other brands there. They should have just sold Microsoft exclusively. Because the thing is, if you're going to buy a Mac, where else other than the Apple Store are you going to buy a Mac? You can buy them at Best Buy. They do sell Macs, but like literally everyone would just go to the Apple Store because that's the place to buy Macs. I can go to Dell and buy a computer. I can go to Best Buy and buy it. I can go to Walmart and buy it. You know, it's like they're everywhere. What do you have that's so interesting or exclusive? I have to go to your store. I can get an Xbox anywhere. You know what I mean? The experience wasn't that much better. So I don't know. They just never. I think it was a pleasant place to shop, but there was just never enough interesting to really sustain it. And also retail blows.
Yeah. The couple of times I went into the Microsoft store, I felt like there weren't like, I always wanted there to be more people in there so I could just like walk around anonymously because I was not interested in buying stuff. But like there were not that like there were always people in there, but like there were not a lot of people in there usually. So like often an earnest store employee would come to you and see if you needed assistance. I didn't need assistance. I was just snooping.
Do I look like I need assistance?
Colby just like shoves. Get out of my face! I don't know about computers than you do.
Computers. Yeah, that's sad, but it probably makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know what the long-term vision for this was, so it's unfortunate, but probably for the best. I was going to briefly tell you guys that I forgot to mention this. I did a paid focus group last week. I do these once in a while, these paid online message boards where a company goes on and pays you to give your opinions. I've done them for alcohol brands and snacks, and what else have I done them for? Like a laundry product. I do them once or twice a year. And I got picked to do an electronics survey about televisions.
Ooh.
Turns
boy.
out, I found out at the very end, and this was the first time I ever did the online message board, and then they asked me to come back for a webcam interview. It was for Samsung.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which was really not great because I didn't learn it was Samsung till the very tip end, and I spent all the time before it saying how lame I thought they were and how I wouldn't buy one of their televisions. So I felt a little mean. I mean, it was the research company I was talking to. It wasn't actually Samsung, but I was still like, at the very end, she's like, "So what if I told you this whole thing was about Samsung? How do you feel now?" I'm like, "Not great, not great."
Hopefully they got good feedback.
Oh, I was very honest with them. And, you know, and by the way, because I'm in marketing, I'm not really supposed to do them, but I do them anyway. They're supposed to screen you out if you work in marketing because you give marketing answers. But I'm honest, and I buy TVs and stuff, but, you know, they ask you all these annoying things like, you know, what does relentless pioneer mean to you? That was one of their relentless pioneer. And I'm literally like, that's a word salad. That doesn't mean anything.
Relentless pioneer.
And then they would ask you, like, what brand in your life embodies relentless pioneer? I'm like, I don't... Huh?
What? Relentless pioneer.
And they had a bunch of, like, weird marketing-y... Because clearly they're testing, like, tagline-y type marketing phrases, but I'm like, I'm in marketing, and I don't know what that means.
That's crazy.
It seems to me like... Relentless pioneer. It's a description. Like I feel like the good taglines, like the just do it and the think different. They evoke emotion. They hint at emotion. They don't directly say, "Oh, relentless pioneer." Like
feel
it's not,
this.
Yeah, feel this. Like be different. It's like no. It's like. Oh, weird different. Like that would not be nearly as good as think different.
Yeah, I think part of it was they were just trying to get in that part of it to just what are brands that you think feel this way, and then should Samsung or whatever the brand was then be like that? I think is what they were saying, because then it got into questions of like, okay, how do you choose a TV? How do you go shopping for a TV? When you buy a TV, is it easy to set up? There was a lot like, would you like rewards from the company you buy your TV from? Like, would you like to buy other products from the company you buy your TV from? Like, all that kind of stuff. It was... I gave them all my best ideas, which I probably shouldn't have done. Because there were some really good ones in there.
For what? Like, how to make TVs easier? What were your ideas?
Well, no, the one that stood out... Because, again, and this is why they do it, but they're like, what is a company that has an easy ordering experience? And of course, it's a message board, so there are a bunch of people, and I didn't want to copy and answer. So I said, I've talked about on the show before, I like fast food ordering apps, like the Chipotle app or something, where it gives you lots of choices, and you kind of build your own, and it's easy to purchase right through the app. The problem I have with buying a television is there's all these different models, and you can't tell the difference between them, and it's too complex. Even for me, I get confused, like, is that last year's model? What's the difference between these two at the same price? So I said, what if there was an app for buying a television where you're like, I want 4K and I want it to run this software and I want it at this size, and they just like you build your own TV, and they're like, that's a good idea, and I'm like, thank you. That was a freebie. So now when the Samsung Build Your Own TV app comes out,
right,
I will take credit for that.
Right, it's now documented for posterity.
That's
like,
right.
We'll have it on video.
And the gift card they paid me in is really gonna. They really made a mint off of me.
You might be under NDA for this, but how much does one get paid to participate in one of these things?
I may be under NDA for all of it, but I've already spoken. It depends. I've done all different ones because some are like a 1-day thing or like a 4-day thing. I know to do the message board, it was $125, and then I will get paid extra for the webcam, but they didn't say how much, and they haven't sent me the bill yet, but I'll get probably another $50 or $75 for that. So a week's worth of work for, $200.
A week's worth of work for $200?
Well, it was like an hour to 2 each day on the message board, and then the 1-hour webcam interview. So not like a crazy amount of work.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and you can just sign up to be on these lists, and then you just put in your demographic info, and then I just got, I get emails where, do you like snacks? ? Like the subject lines are hilarious, and then they're like, oh, it's an interview about snacks, and then you may or may not qualify. So. Something interesting, keeping up with, but I was surprised when it was Samsung because they're literally like, do you care about, if you bought a TV, would you want to buy other products by that manufacturer? I'm like, I don't really care. I just want a good TV. So.
Do you remember when I had that in college? I had a beta of like a hardware TV thing.
Yeah,
was that the
video
streamer?
game thing. Yes.
Oh, I had a different one too. I forgot about the game streaming thing. I did have the game stream one. That was like, what was On Live? The thing PlayStation
Yes, it was
bought,
on
Sony
Live.
bought.
Yeah.
But then I also had Boxy, I think.
Yes. Boxy. I remember Boxy.
Yeah. I don't remember what happened to them. I remember the thing did not work super well.
Yeah, that's like the top tier of these marketing things is when they actually send you stuff to try, and but you have to be like really good at these before they move you up to that next level. I'm hoping I get a free Samsung TV out of it.
I know someone who got some beta Sonos stuff once.
Well, didn't an old college roommate of ours get a bunch of frozen dinners once to try out? I seem to remember a famous story. Of a certain a lunatic housemate of ours who once got a bunch of Hungry Man dinners and new flavors to try out. Whose name I will not say. We'll leave that as a tease. Guys, how about some more news?
Sounds good.
News.
We could talk about the Segway. Talk about the Segway.
Let's talk. In another thing that's going away in our death-filled episode, Segway has announced they will stop making their iconic self-balancing scooter. The Segway PT, or personal transporter, is no more. The last production will be on July 15th at its Bedford, New Hampshire plant. The move will result in 25 people being laid off. The investor, Dean Kamen, launched the Segway PT in December 2001 with the promise that it would revolutionize city transport. It did not. Did you guys, maybe you already read this in the article, do you know how many they've sold in the 20 years since they've launched it?
No. Like,
you-
I think it was something like 600,000 or something like that.
Not even 140,000.
Wait, what?
That's what this article says. That's what Engadget says.
Wow.
Chinese mobility firm Ninebot acquired the company in 2015. Now, Segway still they're big in electric scooters. They claim they have 70% of the worldwide market in electric scooters. They also do self-balancing skates and chairs and use the technology in a bunch of other things. famously, was it Dean Kamen himself who tragically died in a Segway that went off a cliff?
No, I think it was the other guy.
Was it the other guy? Yes, a story that you really shouldn't laugh at, but at the same time is absolutely insane.
These skates seem... They're like weird Heelys.
Yes, the self-balancing skates. I love those.
What?
They are wacky as hell.
I think that's I'm reading through the lines correctly. I think that's the thing that Merlin Mann has that he talks about as the Segway.
The skates? Scoot?
Yeah, he doesn't have like a full-on Segway. Is my read on the situation.
I feel like it's like a mini scooter. The skates are like your feet are independent. Like they're like not connected to each other.
Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong one then.
You should look up the skates because it seems so my gripe watching this video, it's like of a person in the store in like a little demo area, but I want to see someone actually using these. Like, do they fly? Like,
no,
do you go fast, or is it just like this person is going slower than a person would walk?
I mean, the thing about this is you ever, think of all those like wipeout videos of people on hoverboards. Like, imagine that, except you're on two hoverboards at the same time.
Right.
Deadly. I like the chair. Have you seen the S Pod, the self-balancing? It's a chair on one wheel. It's I got to figure out how to get one of these things. They're awesome.
Wait, I want to go to. I'm clicking on the power sports section. Power sports. That's a phrase I've not heard before.
That makes. Did they make a jet ski that balances on one wheel or something?
Segway makes ATVs apparently. And whatever this thing is, the SS5 Villain. Fear no place.
I mean, the scooters look cool. I'll give them credit. They're nice looking scooters. They have a dirt bike? They have a dirt bike! I don't know why Segway needs to make a dirt bike, but...
Does it, like, balance itself? Like, you don't have to do anything?
I think it's just an e-bike. That's what I can't figure out, is what makes it...
Wait, Colby, what is the name of the Segway skates? I guess I'm just going to Google it.
They're on Segway.com.
E-skates, I think?
The Segway Drift W1.
Oh, the Segway Drift. I see. Yeah, that looks bananas.
Just awful. Just the worst.
They're not even connected to your feet.
It reminds me of one of those, what was the old phrase? We were so busy asking if we could, we never stopped and asked if we should. And that's what I feel like about these, where it's like, this is a terrible idea.
What could go wrong?
I mean, now to be fair... How long do you think
the batteries last on those?
Do you want to take a guess? I have the answer. What the range is.
Like 24 minutes.
45 minutes.
All right.
I think, honestly, the only cool thing about this is I would like them to take the technology and just make one big one I could sit on. Like, that would be cool. With, like, handlebars.
Like a surfboard? Like, what are you imagining this would look like?
Sort of, except a little more kind of like a big one-wheel motorcycle that self-balances, I guess, is kind of what I want.
Oh, okay. That feels like a Star Wars vehicle.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly what I want.
Nice. Well, someday, Sean. It's bound to happen eventually.
I mean, these things move at up to 7.5 miles per hour. That's far too fast. But hey, they have a Segway helmet they'll sell you. Probably going to want that. But anyway...
Does the helmet self-balance?
That's a good question. It's called the Segway helmet. How big is your head circumference, Dan? Maybe we'll get you one.
I'm not sure. Does it only support certain head circumferences?
Yes, you do have to be between 22.83 and 24.8 inches. So, but apparently it's both lightweight and comfortable and has excellent shock absorbance.
Why wouldn't they make a different size helmet for people with bigger heads?
They do. This is the large, extra large.
Oh.
and it's out of stock, so it doesn't matter. But you can get a coupon if you subscribe to their mailing list. So rest in peace to the Segway personal transporter, a joke that still has not gotten old. Any other things here in the rundown, guys, worth discussing? You're always welcome to say no.
We can talk about the mixer thing. I think that's that's kind of interesting.
In our Beyond the that's tonight's episode title is Beyond the Grave, because we're just talking about everything that's been killed. Microsoft, not satiated by the death of their stores, has decided to close down its Mixer gaming streaming service, and has planned to move existing partners over to Facebook Gaming. They've been trying for Mixer for a while. I think it was in the rundown, at least. I don't remember if we talked about it on the show, that Mixer had signed a bunch of large deals with very popular streamers, including one I'm told is called Ninja, among others. I don't know. But it was never quite able to compete at the scale of Twitch and some of their other competitors. On July 22nd, all Mixer sites and apps will automatically redirect to Facebook Gaming, and a bunch of other things that go with that happening. Shroud, I guess, is also a streamer who went with Mixer and is now a free agent.
That one I don't know.
Okay, those are the only two listed in this article.
Yeah, I think Ninja was the big one. I think the two things I found interesting about this was how long was this actually around for?
That's a question I will answer while you ask your next question.
And then my other question was, like, what is the incentive? Like, did Facebook then pay? So the first thing I thought was, like, oh, Facebook bought out Mixer. Like, Facebook basically bought Mixer. And that there's some money traded hands, and that's why, like, all these big names are now going to go to Facebook Gaming. But then I heard that they're not, like, they're all free to do what they want, and that this is just a, like, migration path they've made for people who stream on Mixer, I guess. And that to me is like, why bother? Like, that doesn't seem, I don't know. I guess it's nice to have, like, like, you click this button, now your stream's just migrated to this other place, but I'm surprised that no one is, like, snapping up these other people. Or is it the case that people are starting to realize that these, contracts are not as worthwhile as I thought? Because that was the whole premise behind Mixer was, oh, we'll get Ninja and then it'll just take off. We'll have enough audience to make it work from there.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that was sort of the original goal of signing these guys. I mean, I'm not surprised it didn't work, considering the biggest folks in this space are multi-platform anyway. I mean, they were never exclusively on Twitch either. I mean, they have YouTube channels and brands and their own sites and all kinds of other stuff anyway. I think the Facebook Gaming thing is just more about, it saves Microsoft some face, because they're not saying they're, like, shutting it down and just killing it. They're migrating people, which is nice, and I'm sure Facebook kicked them back a little bit of cash as well, to gain some folks out of Facebook Gaming, which they've been investing in lately. So, I don't think Facebook really cares if they get the big guys or not at this point, but they are getting the sort of the bulk of users who weren't the big guys. And to answer your question, Dan, Mixer was founded as Beam in 2016, was acquired by Microsoft in 2016, and renamed Mixer in 2017.
Did not know that.
Weird. Mixer.
Yep, although Mixer's intellectual property and staff will be transferred to the Microsoft Teams division. For whatever that's worth.
Teams.
Yep. So, anyway, another thing coming on. You know what else is coming on is the news segment. We'll put that in the grave as well and move on to picks, the part of the show where each of us brings something we want to share with the world. And I think by default, because he's the only one with something listed in here, is Colby. What do you got for us this week?
This
the ultimate in work from home. Look at this.
This has never happened. Yeah, so for obvious reasons, I've been working from home a lot more. And I work on, like, mobile, like, app stuff now which is a little more computer intensive. So I found that my computer spends a lot more time with the fans running than it used to. And so like working from home, like often I would sit on the couch or sit in my beanbag chair or something. Like sometimes I work at this desk, but not all the time because that's a long time to be standing up. So I had this like computer that was just like steaming my lap. So I got a lap desk. And it's nice. It's really nice. I don't know if this lap desk is particularly nice or not. I've never owned a lap desk before, but it does exactly what I want it to, in that it is a buffer between me and my like spicy MacBook.
Episode title.
Spicy MacBook.
Colby's spicy MacBook.
Yeah. Hot potato.
Cool. No, this is great. Don't think I've seen one that's sort of as well sort of segmented and organized as this one. Like it has a mouse pad.
Yeah, I've never used the mouse pad. I got this one. I got this one because the Wirecutter's pick was sold out, and this was a different model from the same company. So I got this one. I didn't need the mouse pad. I do sometimes use a little phone notch. Like that's kind of useful as a place to just put your phone. I like lose my phone. It's weird now that I'm at home. I lose my phone all the time during the day because it's somewhere weird.
That's really strange.
Never happened at work, but
well, I still remember. I'll never forget the time, Colby. My memory is that this happened frequently. Is that you would get up or something, and then your bare, caseless iPhone 4S would just fly across the room and smash into the linoleum ground.
That phone was lived through a lot. That phone like survived all that crazy stuff, and then one day it just like I had it on my lap on the bus, and it like just slipped off my lap like a foot down to the ground and broke.
Yeah. It had enough.
Yeah.
Now was that the same phone that you couldn't let the battery die because if you did, you wouldn't be able to turn it back on again?
No, that was my iPhone 3G or whatever.
Okay.
that was a classic too. I think the 4 must have been the one that I replaced the 3G with. Presumably. But anyways, a lap desk. It's pretty useful. It's also nice for like it puts your computer in a little bit better position for your like hands. It's more comfortable to use. So
cool. Well, we'll link to that particular one on our website, so you can check that out. Dan, you've got an application for us.
I do indeed. So when we were not in New York, we could see the stars, but we were like, what stars are these? And I remembered, there's like all these great demos at Apple keynotes about using AR to like look at the sky and stuff. So I found this app called Sky Guide. And the AR thing I didn't find very useful, but the general idea that you can like point it into the sky and it shows you where, like which stars are where, and you can click on them and get different information about each star or the constellations. You can turn on or off satellites and all sorts of different features. Another great thing is I found that the compass isn't exactly 100% accurate, which can get a little confusing if you have a sky full of stars. But you can adjust it. So if you hold down, this app, you can get into this like compass correction mode where you can, what I did was I lined up the moon in front of me with the moon that was on the phone, and then everything else fell into place. And once you like do the little adjustment, now it's all accurate. Mm-hmm. I think it's a couple bucks on the App Store. Is it $3, $4, $3? But it seemed pretty worth it. Yeah.
That's neat.
It was really cool. I would recommend stargazing. Maybe that's my second pick. Go stargazing if you can. Sean, you can probably go stargazing. We can't.
Kind of like fireworks. I've seen them. I'm over it.
Okay.
Been there, done that. But that's great, Dan. Any part of nature we can improve with an app on our phone is fine by me.
It did feel really weird to be sitting there and like, ooh, like let's look through the sky on the phone. Oh, here's another cool feature it has. I forget what they call it. It's like night mode or something, which doesn't make sense. It's not called night mode, but you can set the entire app to be red, and then night vision. Like red is the color that the eye sees the least. It's like the warmest color. So then when you go from looking at the phone to looking at the sky, you don't get that like the screen is so bright now I can't see the stars anymore thing.
Doesn't make your eyes dilate or whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Cool, check that out. Like I said, we'll link to that on the website as well. Now, guys, I don't really have much to pick this week, but I'm going to let you guys decide. I got two picks, two physical items I actually purchased on Amazon, one for inside the house and one for outside the house. Which one should we talk about?
Inside the house, because I don't have an outside the house, and I don't think Colby does either.
You're going to regret it, because you actually probably could have used my outside pick, but maybe you'll never know what it is. Instead, I'm going to talk to you about the very exciting thing you chose, which is the Matex Fabric Shower Liner.
Woohoo!
This is...
I need a new shower liner.
So this is, say it with me, the wire cutter's pick, because I have no personal taste. However, I have a great and odd tradition, which is whenever I move, I buy a new shower curtain. I don't have to, because I can just clean the one I already have, and this is a great high-quality shower curtain. My Amazon account tells me I've purchased this 5 times, and it's just one of those things that when I get to my new place, I open up the new package and I shake it out, and a brand new shower curtain to open my brand new place. It's very stupid, but it's just become a tradition. Because you don't want to pack like a used shower curtain, you know?
Now, that's one of the things that I always forget about when I move. So I get to a new place, like unpack all my shit. It's like, oh my God, I'm so hot. I need to take a shower. I walk into the bathroom and there's no curtain. And I was like, oh God, I have to go to the store.
Yep. No, and so believe it or not, I've already pre-ordered one for my next place. So I always order it before I move, so I have it, and I pack it right on top. Now, this is you could use it as your primary curtain. I use it as a liner and have a decorative curtain on the outside of the shower. But this one, it's very easy to clean. It comes in a number of colors and a number of fabrics as well. I do the water repellent solid, but you can get it more textured, more in a microfiber. They've got a bunch of options. I just do the water repellent solid, and white is usually what I do, and then accessorize, with something along with it. But it's just a great shower curtain liner. So the link to that will be on the website. But a great tradition whenever I move. I've already ordered mine. So
is it like plastic? Oh, it's vinyl. I see.
It's not, but it's not. It's a very sort of. It's like a woven vinyl. It's not like a thick sheet where it's kind of stiff. It's pretty loose, which is what I like about it. And it's very, like I said, I know people who do like the more fabric-y type ones, and I find them terrible to clean. And this one cleans very nice. And because it's so white, it kind of feels bright in the shower. So, but you can get in other colors too. So, and it's $10. It's very reasonable. So, check out the Matex Fabric Liner Shower Curtains. It is the wire cutter's pick, as I mentioned. Guys, that is the end of this thrilling edition. Before I wrap it up, I'll give you a minute to think if there's anything you'd like to plug, but there is something I'd like to plug, which is the fine show over at Up for Debate. The journey through Rocky Balboa continues. We just watched 2006's Rocky Balboa, a movie I actually really liked a lot. We had a great discussion on why is Rocky so old and sad all of a sudden. We get to that, finally being able to understand what Sylvester Stallone is saying. And coming up later this week, theoretically, although with Matt's schedule, who knows, theoretically we're taping Creed this week. So that'll be coming up on the feed as well. And I can already tease, we've already decided, once we've done Creed and Creed 2, our follow-up episode, we're going to be doing the Summer Book Club again. If you remember last year, Matt and I brought a bunch of books to the show. We challenged each other to pick one of each other's books. We read them, and then in a future episode, we talked about them. The issue is I haven't read a book in, months, So I've already ordered a bunch of books. I'm going to try and find some new books in addition to some old favorites of mine. So that'll be coming up. You got to subscribe to the show, Up for Debate.tv, or wherever you get podcasts. Just search for Up for Debate. It's going to be a great summer coming up. Anything you guys would like to plug?
Well, the next time we do this show, we're going to have a new website.
Kabam!
Blammo.
Kabam!
Maybe even the next time you listen to this show, like as you're listening to this episode, we might have a new website. In fact, we'll either have a new website or have no website at all. There's no middle ground.
That's right. If you're not listening to this episode, that's because something went horribly wrong, and we're working on it.
Technical difficulties.
Colby, how will people know if they're getting the new website?
It looks slightly different.
The key word there being slightly.
Right.
You need to put a little marketing tagline on there, like the new Don't Panic website is revolutionizing the podcast website industry.
Oh,
Don't Panic version 3. We can update the name.
Did I tell you guys about the press release I made my boss put out when we launched our new website at the company I helped put together?
No.
Oh, it was great. Very quickly. This is the line I made him put in to start it. OMG Roofing Products has launched a newly reimagined online destination. He hated that. But I made, because he said, Sean, we can't just call the website. What does I said? It says newly reimagined online destination. So there you go. That's what we're developing here.
It is kind of newly reimagined.
Yeah, it's not like totally new, but it's newly reimagined in the mind of Colby.
Parts of it.
It's going to be great. So people should check it out. Don'tPanic.io. You can either revel in the old site while it still exists, or play around with all the exciting features on the new website. You can do it there. All the shows and the picks will be there as well. Make sure you check those out so we can get our 30-cent referral on every shower curtain liner we sell. And, of course, subscribe to the show wherever you get podcasts. We're on all the major platforms, video on YouTube as well. And, of course, you can follow us at Don't Panic Show on Twitter and email us, don'tpanicshow@gmail.com. I already mentioned earlier in the show about joining us live Monday nights, so you should definitely do that as well. This is officially the last show of June. I can say that for sure. We've already done 5. I think that's enough. So we're going to be back next week to celebrate everything July and more exciting tech news. So on behalf of Colby and Dan, I am Sean. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time for another episode of Don't Panic.